recently elected Barack Obama has numerous critical problems to tackle as the 44th President of the United States. The most crucial issue is energy freedom. This looming issue has been talked about for over 30 years. Now we need bold and coordinated leadership and the country's full attention.
I think one of our biggest concerns, though, today, as we look at the big picture across America, is to become energy independent, whether or not it's with petroleum products or any of the other alternative products that are being considered today. I think it's imperative that we try to free ourselves up from the reliance on foreign products, especially from countries that will create problems for us with reductions in production. I hope that the new administration will take whatever steps are necessary to keep our economy going in the right direction, provide products that we currently can use but be made here in the USA, and also develop other energy independent items such as nuclear, wind, solar, thermal that can move us forward also for energy independence in the near future.
We, the people of the United States, no longer want to be in bondage to the foreign oil-producing countries. We no longer want to continue to pollute the air we breathe and trash the world we live in. We do not want to be slaves to the trade deficit that will strangle our country's economic growth for decades.
Good morning. I'm Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House of Representatives. It is clear that America's national security and economic leadership demand that we end our dangerous dependence on foreign oil. During the past 8 years, our energy policy has been directed by the two oil men in the White House. Their failed policy has increased our dependence on foreign oil, damaged our economy, and left consumers paying record prices at the pump. Republicans in Congress continue to follow the Bush-Cheney-McCain leadership. Over the past few months alone, Republicans have voted down our efforts to expand domestic drilling, opposed clean energy alternatives, and rejected requiring oil companies to produce from the public lands they already control.
People are upset. They're upset that Nancy Pelosi would not allow an up or down vote on a comprehensive energy plan. And she single-handedly holds the key to what the federal government has under lock and key, over a 100-year reserve of oil and gas that we can get here in our own backyard. You know, this is not only an economic issue that families are suffering and suffering desperately. Their food prices are going up. You know, people are going to the grocery store experiencing, tremendous food price increase because of this.
For too long, we have accepted the poor effort of our leadership, influenced by corporate America. A strong presidential leadership must be demonstrated upon the issue of energy freedom. The government's role in energy freedom is to set up a policy framework promoting new energy technology, environmental security, and helping effectively balancing these vast concerns. Without the government's assistance in stimulating new energy technologies, educating the public in energy conservation and environmental issues, our country will continue to flounder for our generation. Why is energy freedom so important to the United States? Much of the world's oil resources are concentrated in several countries, including Iran, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Canada.
Look where we choose to fight. Look where we deploy our military forces. Look how we put the strategy into place to fight terrorism. Now, we could fight terrorism in Sudan, or we could fight terrorism in Indonesia, but we choose to fight terrorism in the Middle East. Why? Because it's absolutely vital, because of the oil supplies in the Middle East, that we maintain a stable Middle East, that we can continue to draw on our energy supplies from those areas to make our economy stable.
We need to develop and implement strategies with fast-paced programs that will increase and provide diversification of our supplies. This would include internal and offshore drilling for new oil deposits while still taking care of our environment, finding and implementing alternative and renewable energy to supply automobiles, industries, and homes.
Down at Old Dominion University, some of the leading technology in the nation is going on to use algae to create fuel. And it's fascinating technology, and it's interesting about algae. If you ever wondered about how do you grow algae, I can tell you, those of you that have swimming pools, you spend half the summer trying to kill algae. To tell you how easy it is to grow. You spend thousands of dollars on chlorine trying to keep the algae down. Well, what we can do is reverse that process and actually use that algae and encourage it to grow rather than discourage it from growing. The algae, interestingly enough, is about 80% oil. That little body of algae, that little speck that you see, is about 80% oil. Well, you take the algae, drain it off, recycle the water, and add more water in from the sewage treatment plant, and you process the algae and produces oil. And that oil right now that ODU produces can go right out of their production unit and right into a diesel engine and run a diesel engine.
By being a huge consumer, the United States of America has the responsibility to become a larger and environmentally sound producer of all kinds of energy.
Who in general do you believe is responsible for telling consumers about new energy-saving products?
Well, Dennis, I think this is a responsibility we all share. But what is most important is being honest about products and their performance, where products are promoted to be environmentally responsive, but in fact are not. As we continue to define our energy independence in this country, we will need to establish a clearinghouse of data regarding the true performance of metrics of systems and products. This will take thoughtful consideration as it parallels our need to become energy independent.
In order to build a power station, in order to put up a windmill, in order to do any number of energy projects, you're required to get various permits from various agencies, both at the state level and the federal level, in order to facilitate building that power plant. Or building the windmill, or building the solar panels, or all of those things require permits from a vast variety of agencies. Sometimes it can take as long as 5 or 10 years to get a single permit. And that kind of obstacle, that kind of bureaucracy that we put into place is, quite frankly, very, very detrimental to helping us solve our energy problems today.
No longer can this country survive into the 21st century without doing something about the situation. We must break free from the chains that imprison us to the past energy policies. Our nation's leaders must put aside their political games and start doing what is best for us, not just today, but also for tomorrow. We must assure our governmental officials that we cannot and will not keep putting this important issue off to the side any longer. Energy freedom today.